welcome to the Mannschrecks.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. We're commentary on Christian culture and life from a pastor's wife and her sidekick.
And that's me. Oh, we're back. I can't believe we're on episode 2. I kind of thought episode 2 would never happen, right? And so, anyways, let's jump in because I've got some great news stories for you today. This first one is my favorite because we have had our beautiful 4 babies, and I was the perfect husband who was there. You may not think I was. Okay, maybe I wasn't perfect, but I promise I'm better than this guy. All right, this article's from the New York Post. It's a little bit old. It's from the end of March 2022, so a month ago.
Okay.
2 months ago. Dad to B brings entire gaming console to the hospital room during labor.
What?
They went to the hospital. She was there for a 21-hour induction, which we know is way too long. Wow. But he brought his gaming system and TV from home. Yes. Just check this out.
Wow.
A dad to be lost a few points after bringing an entire video game console to his partner's 24-hour labor on Wednesday. So what happened was she, while being induced, or maybe like while waiting to be induced, took a video of him playing, and then it went viral on TikTok. She's over there like making TikTok videos, and he set up in a video that has racked up 1.6 million views, 45,000 likes, and 3,200 comments. Several people disagreeing on whether or not the gamer daddy was right to bring his whole setup and to. Or if he should have focused on his independent child.
If it's being debated, those people who said that he totally should have probably are not parents or have never been in the delivery room while someone is giving birth. Also, I have a lot of questions about your commitment to your child or to your video game addiction.
Okay, but listen to this. It says, this one person said, I mean, what you want him to do? What ya want him to do? Sit there for 24 hours staring at her? She was probably more entertained watching him play. I would be.
Okay, so clearly you've never been induced.
So let's see.
Let's talk about being a support partner for someone in labor.
Let's talk about that, because at what point during your labor process would you have felt like, I really wish I could be more entertained, and should I have brought my video game?
I need entertainment. I'm working my butt off over here, and here you are. Yeah, my labors have never been. Well, I guess some of my labors have been long enough where you could play video games, but I felt like it was more important that you were actually there in the moment.
I just feel really bad. For what did I mean, I was just there bringing you cold compresses and holding your hand and talking encouragingly into your ear. I didn't do anything to entertain you, and I really dropped the ball by not setting up my video game system.
I'm not really one to seek entertainment while in labor. You're pretty focused on the task at hand usually.
Oh my gosh. That story, I can't even handle it.
That's ridiculous.
The new mother of 2 ended the discussion by telling users she was okay with the father bringing his consoles. She hadn't really felt any pain until 19 hours had gone by. Which, do you want to talk about that?
Don't get me started on hospitals and inductions and interventions on labor. But anyways, it's ridiculous. I cannot.
I think my mom was induced with
Ben.
Was it Ben? Yeah, my brother.
Said, yeah.
And boy, she said it was like getting run over by a truck or something. She said it was like the worst thing ever. And even with us, we've had some late babies, but we've never induced because we always wanted to avoid that.
Yeah, boy, that's quite a hospital stay. But also, I want to know what the nurses thought. Like, was he not in the way? What kind of hospital is this? Was it huge rooms? Where is he setting up his system? And how big is this TV? And why did he need to bring it?
That's
I'm
dedication. In labor. We're gonna go to the hospital. Hang on, I gotta get my TV.
Did you get the car seat? No, but I got the TV, so we're good.
I love it so
Honey,
much.
Do you have the baby? No, all I had time for was my console. I got to carry that out to the car first. Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Did you get my to-go bag and my birthing soundtrack? No, I got the HDMI cables though, so we're good.
We're all set. That's all I need. Thanks, honey.
Wow. Wow. So yeah, that one,
They said partner several times in that article, so it's very clear why they're not married.
Yeah. I can't commit. I gotta
can't commit between.
Well, and what video game I guess there's different levels of gamers. Like I enjoy a good video game, but I don't play for like 20 hours. Like I get bored. I'm good for like a couple hours.
I get nauseous watching someone play for 30 minutes.
Well, and it's a whole different vibe though, because like we really kind of focused on doing things the natural way and all of that. But she said that she kept herself entertained by watching over his shoulder and watching TikTok videos. So she like this was her labor.
I mean, I can't speak to that because I'm not a TikToker. I've never watched TikTok videos really, and I am kind of a...
You're kind of like an Amish hermit crab.
I'm kind of like a... I don't really jive with this generation's...
You were born in the wrong generation.
Yeah, I don't really understand the draw of... don't really understand the draw of TikTok, but I'm a little stodgy, so...
You like 80s music and you're anti-social media.
I'm not anti-social media.
That's true. You just don't like any of it.
I'm selective in my usage of social media. It has value in certain places, and not all social media is valuable.
That's very true. All right, on to the next story, because this one is absolutely fabulous. This one comes from Reuters, which I can't believe a news company as reputable and amazing as Reuters.com even bothered to cover this. New York judge dismisses Kellogg's Frosted Strawberry Pop-Tart lawsuit.
What?
There was a group of people who tried to get together a class action lawsuit suing Kellogg, the Michigan-based company, suing them about the amount of strawberries in their strawberry Pop-Tarts. You advertised that there's fruit in this Pop-Tart, and it's not as nutritional as you said.
When has anyone ever thought that Pop-Tarts are nutritional? I mean, that's not why we're eating them. If we wanted fruit, we would eat actual fruit. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Why? They really thought there was an argument there?
Somebody looked at those shiny silver packages and the little, like...
Which are candy bar wrappers.
Yup.
And thought that they had fruit in them?
And thought, this is a good source of strawberry fruit.
I feel like all boxed breakfast items, I've always said on the side, part of a balanced breakfast, not a complete balanced breakfast.
And the other side of the balance is like 15 grapefruits.
Oh my gosh. And you gotta have protein in there. You're not gonna get fruit from a Pop-Tart. That's not why my 5-year-old likes them.
A federal judge in Manhattan has dismissed a proposed class. Like, he just threw it out. He was like, no, we're not even going to talk about this. Dismissed a proposed class action lawsuit accusing Kellogg Company of using misleading labels to exaggerate the amount of strawberries in its Frosted Strawberry Pop-Tarts. By the way, how much strawberry do you think would be in a strawberry Pop-Tart?
None. They're strawberry flavored. They're not strawberry.
Yeah, I would be shocked to find out.
That's like saying that like cherry medicine is actual cherries. It's cherry it's artificial flavors.
Yeah, it's goo that they cooked up in a lab, right? Like, there's no real strawberries. I mean, we all know that. We just don't think it's like Taco Bell food. We know there's no meat in there.
That's why I don't eat Taco Bell.
I love Taco Bell. It's the best.
Thank you.
Are we like completely opposite people?
I just don't like Taco Bell. It has always. I just look at the sign and I get a stomach ache. I can't.
See, and I get so excited. I'm like, yeah, right there. I love Taco Bell.
I think the most I ever got from Taco Bell was a little cinnamon twisty things.
Ooh, those are good. Or the little Cinnabons. Those are good. The little circle, like they're like donut hole things.
Oh, I've never had those.
Oh, they're choice. They're good. All right. In a Thursday night decision, U.S. District Judge Andrew Carter said reasonable shoppers would not expect strawberries to be the main ingredient in a, quote, prepackaged processed sugary treat called Frosted Strawberry.
Seriously, the frosted part.
It's called Frosted Strawberry Pop-Tarts, guys. Of course not. Shoppers like the plaintiff... shoppers like the plaintiff... Kelvin Brown of Bronx, New York, could check the ingredient list to resolve any confusion. He also the judge also rejected the idea that Pop-Tart buyers missed out on the health benefits of strawberries. Quote, a reasonable consumer is unlikely to purchase a toaster pastry coated in frosting exclusively for the nutritional value of the strawberries in its fruit filling.
honestly, like, if I'm buying Pop-Tarts, I'm not expecting to get any nutrients from it. I know
You've given
exactly
up a
what I'm
little
getting.
bit, right? Like,
It's like arguing that I'm going to get a good source of protein from a Babe Ruth candy bar. Like, I'm eating a candy bar. I know exactly what I'm signing up for. I'm not... That's ridiculous.
and it's not even dressed up like
No.
health food. No pop. Like, nobody's saying like, "Hey, this Pop-Tart is basically like eating a banana." You know, like, nobody ever made that claim.
That's ridiculous. No,
They're delicious.
it's the alternative to eating actual fruit.
It's kind of like, it's like liquid jelly beans.
It's just like, sugar. It's just tons of sugar. There's no way there's any actual strawberries.
I love it. I just can't believe somebody ate that and was like, I am shocked to discover that there is no.
Why would you think
value,
you have a lawsuit in that?
So I'm gonna sue them.
I have so many questions about this person.
A class action. It was people, like, the whole group wanted to get together and say, let's sue them because they're misleading us.
By some people, it was like a family, right? They were like, this is enough to get us
a couple
a
of neighbors, in the apartment
neighborhood.
building.
They were like, justice.
And then they had
like apartment building.
A guy down
I have been lied to.
They were on the elevator, right, coming back with the groceries, and they're like, I got my fruits and veggies here. It's just like boxes of Pop-Tarts, and the person was like, you know there's no fruit in there. What? I'm outraged. Is that why my diet's not working?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's awful. Oh my gosh. Strawberries in the strawberry Pop-Tarts.
The world is an amazing place. Oh. It just cracks me up.
It's ridiculous.
All right, so let's move on to our first section or segment. We're going to talk about social media, how we use it, and how we should or shouldn't, and pros and cons, and just preferences, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so social media. I don't know. We've been talking about this a lot because you use Twitter and you're on Facebook and Instagram and all those places. And
I have like 2 or 3
I
accounts.
only have Instagram. I used to have Twitter, didn't really use it. I used to have
follow
Facebook. Me. Yeah, that's true. I used to have a Facebook, but I guess it was probably about, oh my gosh, like 2.5 years now ago that I read a book about like digital minimalism and the importance of being aware of why we use certain things. And I really felt like having an awareness of why I was using things and the way that I was using things and how that kind of affects, my usage of social media. So I thought having a philosophy of social media was really helpful before just consuming everything. So yeah, I had a good hard look at my Facebook usage and decided it wasn't essential, and so I kind of stopped using it for a while, and then I deactivated it for a while, and then I just essentially deleted it. And then I keep Instagram, but really all I consume on Instagram, aside from following a few friends and family members that I'm close with, just kind of follow like a couple different religious sources, like people who consider themselves like, I don't know, so theologians or whatnot, and then also parenting accounts and like teaching homeschool resources are a lot of I get a lot of homeschool resources from Instagram and parenting sites that are very beneficial as well, with like activities for kids and stuff. But other than that, I really don't do a lot on social media because it just, I don't know, I considered it a big time waster, something that took away from spending time with the kids, and rather than staring at my phone, I wanted to be more present. But also just, I didn't want to let the technology, consume me. I wanted to consume, whatever I was doing. So. Do
you remember the name of that book that you read?
Yeah, it was called Digital Minimalism.
Who's that by? Do you remember?
Oh my goodness, I don't remember the author's name.
Digital Minimalism. I got it.
It's called Digital Minimalism, and he was a professor at a university, one of the big Ivy League universities. I don't remember which one.
Is it Cal Newport?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. Yep.
There we go.
Yep. It was a great book. But yeah, really good book. And he just kind of outlined how we consume different types of technology and social media. He went past social media into all forms of technology, consuming TV, consuming, internet usage, consuming, obviously using your phone and stuff like that. And it really was interesting because it kind of caused me to kind of take a break from things. And at the time, I think it was during Lent, so I actually gave up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Technology usage during the month of Lent, and ironically, that was right before the
pandemic. Oh,
and
man.
so we started, our Lent fasting of all technology in February, and then the pandemic hit, and it was really, really hard during lockdown when we didn't have access to anything and we couldn't leave the house to still continue to fast TV.
Yeah.
Because that was so hard.
Yeah, I remember I had to come off of some of that because I had to
connect with people over church stuff.
Because we had to suddenly start live streaming everything. And so I had to hop back on Facebook. Yeah, and I use social media very different. I'm about as online as you possibly can. I used to have 2 Twitter accounts. I only have 1 now. And then let's see, I have 3 Instagram accounts for all, like there's the church one and then there's mine, and then I have 3 Facebook pages, 2 Facebook pages, and then a couple of groups that I've started as well or I'm a part of, and then there's obviously my personal page. It's just, and I think a big difference has been that I use it a lot professionally. Like as a pastor, social media is one of the best ways to engage with people. Mm-hmm. And I will say I give a big shout out to Twitter because that's my primary social media. And really, especially over the pandemic, I found a really great community of people that kind of tied together, and we root for each other. We've actually had like in-person meetups where like there have been people from Twitter who I have met who live like in Texas, and they came up and visited church on a Sunday, and we like hung out with them, and it was, it just like, it definitely, it is what you create it to be or let it be. I'm just breaking into TikTok now, more as a content producer than a consumer, because I've been warned from some people. Apparently TikTok is just a massive time warp.
I mean, that was what YouTube was when we were first beginning college. Do you remember how much of a waste YouTube was? People would watch hours of, I mean, I never really, I did watch some things on YouTube. Like I remember, people would share things, but I had friends that like had problems with it. Like they would get so addicted to just watching YouTube videos that they would, not do their homework, and they'd watch 6 hours of YouTube, and it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
I have 2 YouTube channels too.
But I hear that's what TikTok is now, so it's a whole new thing. But yeah, I'm not. I'm afraid to suck all that time out of it because I don't have that much time, right? We got only how many hours in a day. I know. Yeah,
for sure. But I see the benefits, but and it's like every sociological study that comes out tells us these are terrible for us. Like social media, it kills your attention span. It's terrible for children. It teaches small, particularly middle school and high school, particularly young women. It affects your self-worth and your value. It increases depression. Like across the board, we have learned that social media is devastating to the psyche of humanity. Like it's amazing how bad it is. And yet the benefits are really strong too. It enables connections like we have never had before, and digital community. And so there are benefits, but it's definitely...
There's been a lot of research too that's shown though that the primary reason that people say they use things like Facebook and Instagram to connect with people is actually the least, in reality, the smallest reason that you actually use it. Like, and that's when I realized, like, why am I using Facebook? Because during the pandemic, and that's really what caused me to largely step away from Facebook, was during the pandemic, just how toxic everything was on Facebook. I mean, it was just people attacking each other, this side on that side, politics, this side or that side of, vaccinations, this side or that side of, COVID things. And I was so tired of it. And I was so like, it was becoming overwhelming to me. And so that was really causing me a lot of issues. And so I was just made a decision, for my mental health, but also just because I did not see any benefit anymore to become a part of that, to just step away. And I realized I'm not really doing that much of a good thing, because I realized that Instagram is owned by Facebook. It's the same company. But I at least have control a little bit more over what I can see on Instagram versus what I see on Facebook and stuff. And I don't know, I've chosen, I think I have allowed only maybe like 90 people to follow me, or I follow like 90 people, right? Like, and it's mostly family and friends and just the accounts that I've chosen to follow for, the resources that I use, like I said, homeschooling stuff, parenting stuff, and, Christianity, some people that I follow, like, famous content producer like Ann Voskamp and some other people, but and I read their stuff, and I'm able to follow on their what they're doing and stuff, but it's not like I have a huge account with tons of followers. I really am very picky about who follows me, and I'm very, very picky about who I follow.
See, and I use it in very different ways, right? Well, like we have very different philosophies of social media. I do primarily like networking and advertising and connecting with people, and it's been so helpful. It has put me in touch with people that like, especially like, and again, Twitter is my big one, but like Twitter's one of those things where like if an author puts out a book, they go on Twitter and they'll like directly interact. So I don't have to go to a book signing or whatever. Yeah. I can just hang out with the author. I've been part of 2-3 book launches, like just because the author is a mutual on Twitter and we hang out and we talk, and it's like, hey, you want to be a part of this? And it's like, yeah, I'll promote it and I can talk about it. And then as far as the church goes, like I have found I don't like Facebook overall, and especially in the politics, it gets so ugly. But it is one of the most useful tools as far as connecting people to the content the church creates, like our worship services. I love being able
consumed social media, right? Like
it's by far
variety.
Right. It's the biggest one, and so it's just like the ability to put out. Like, you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We've got families and lots of elderly people who are high risk and they haven't made it back in person. And so I do love that we can offer that. But it's weird. It's like I have like, okay, this one good thing about it, and everything else I really wish we'd stop doing.
Yeah, that's valid. I agree.
Oh, and I do want to give a plug for Andy Crouch's book, The Tech Wise Family. That was another really formative book about, and like you said, not just social media, but all technology, especially like watching TV and spending time on your phone. And he gives great ideas with a lot of grace. Like there's no judgment for people who do things differently, right? Like everybody approaches it a little differently. It's a dangerous tool and people use it differently, and that's fine. But also, it's like, be very careful. You're holding a really sharp tool, you know? Like watching our toddlers play with knives.
Yeah.
Knives are super handy, but...
You've let them play with knives?
No, never. I would...
I did watch one of them throw the scissors the other day. That was a little scary.
Yikes. So. At what?
Each other. Hey, hand me those.
Let me throw them.
It was terrifying. It was really... Yeah.
That's awesome.
No.
They're just, hey, they're in one piece still.
It's true. The kids and the scissors.
The piece. All right, let's move to, are you ready for the sponsors? Let's talk about all our sponsors, because our podcast is so wildly popular by the second episode that we don't have any sponsors. So we have a segment in the middle of our show called The Sponsors of Our Life. What is sponsoring your life right now?
Aha, sparkling water. I love sparkling water.
You do.
I really do. I drink a lot of water, but sparkling water, I always, save one for the middle of the day.
Yep.
And it's like my favorite part of the afternoon when the kids
got a favorite flavor?
I like their blueberry pomegranate.
Blueberry pomegranate. See, and I love you, and I love that you love that, but sparkling water will always be to me like disappointing soda. It was like pop that didn't try very hard.
It's carbonated water. It's I like that carbonation, but it's water.
It's like water trying to be extra.
I will say, there's a learning curve with becoming acclimated to, because I was not a fan of sparkling water either. I remember I had a friend that used to drink LaCroix, and all I ever did was made fun of it because it tasted like weak juice, like really, really, really weak juice. And then I was like trying to stop drinking other types of drinks, and I was like, I kind of want a little bit of something different, and so I tried a few different kinds, and I really do. There's a lot of varieties that I like, the Aha brand has been inexpensive because I can find it at Aldi.
Shout out
and
to Aldi
also sponsoring my life.
Right there.
And I really like it. They have so many different flavors, and I always, I pick up a pack every week, and it's very enjoyable. I like it.
Yeah, I love that. And so for me, I'm a little embarrassed and chagrined because last week I came with this sponsor of our life thing, and I couldn't come up with anything, and so we talk about hair product, which is absurd, but no, I should have come up with this on the spot immediately. Sponsor of my life is Big B Coffee, and I'm going to give a shout out to I thought it was called the Chocolate Covered Irishman, but I think it's called the Chocolate Covered Leprechaun. It's like a mocha with Irish cream they call it a latte, but it's basically a milkshake with espresso, right? Like it's delicious and it's candy in a cup, and I love it, and it absolutely sponsors my life. It's kind of I feel like Bigby's kind of a splurge, right? Because those drinks are
sugary,
expensive. But yeah, very sugary. It's like a big dessert in a cup.
It is.
And they're, I don't know. I don't quite make Bigby money, you know? I don't quite have money for that. However, you know, you get your BOGO going, and so the cut, you know, take a $7 drink down to like $3, and it's like, okay, I can do that. And so
that's true.
I feel okay about doing that every now and then. And yeah, I got one of those today. It was amazing. Made Monday a little bit better. I mean, we're of course
a little less Monday.
Made my Monday a little less Monday. Absolutely a sponsor of my life, and I will give a shout out to the local Flushing crew at Big B. I know we know people who are like at the other Big B's. I kind of have all the coffee places scoped out. Like I walk in and I usually know their names. The baristas know who I am, not because I'm famous at all, but because I eat and drink way too much coffee. I'm in there way too much.
Or working in there, you know.
Just in there. I do. I love the coffee shop vibe. Like that's my thing. I take my laptop, go and do a lot of work in those coffee shops. All right. So those are our sponsors. We got sparkling water and Big B's chocolate covered. I think it's leprechaun. But see, okay, one of the baristas told me that the chocolate covered leprechaun was white chocolate and the chocolate covered Irishman was like regular chocolate. And I don't like that white chocolate. I like the regular chocolate.
Yeah.
But every time I go in, since that one lady, and I've been like, I want the chocolate covered Irishman, and she's like, no, that's not a thing. You want the leprechaun. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. You know,
I feel like they weren't all trained on the same level.
I'm rolling with it, but that one person, maybe it's a secret drink.
Maybe it is their secret menu.
All right, this concludes our sponsorship section. Into our next bit. I'm excited about this. This bit is called Great Big Family. So I feel like this is so funny to me because we have 4 children, and that is not that many children. My parents had 4 children. Lots of people had 4 children. And if you go back a generation or 2 generations, like we're a small family, right? A family of 6. But in the modern world, for people our age and younger, we are abnormal.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like the rule is 2 kids is normal, 3 kids is a big family. 4 kids, you're kind of a weirdo, right? Like we have stretched into, oh, you have 4, and it's less congratulatory when they say it to us, you know?
Yeah, well, people need to be a little more tactful and recognize that their opinion of how many kids is too many and what is, quote, weird or not is not their decision as far as what we have decided.
Are you feeling judged?
Yeah, a little. Yeah,
well,
just
and it's
a lot.
But my favorite is when we tell people we're like, well, and maybe we're not done. You know, like maybe we want more. And people are like, what? Yeah. But for this bit, Great Big Family, we're going to talk about moments when people just approach us in tactless ways or tell like just ridiculous stories that have to do with the size of our family. Because, hey, no shade. If you think your family is complete with 2 kids or 3 kids or 1 kid, that's awesome. Yeah. Like, it's different for everybody. We just happen to really like a big family. And honestly, that has been an evolution, right? Like, that was not my original stand.
You never want to get married.
I did not.
And then you decided you only want to have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, because that's the order that you put in. How? But okay.
That was what I wanted. Yeah. Well, when we started dating, I was like, oh no, I'm never going to get married. I'm going to travel the world and I'm going to go live in dangerous places and tell everyone about Jesus. I can't get married. And you were kind of like,
okay. Well, I'm going to be here, so.
Well, then I fell in love and we got married and that was amazing. But once we had 1 kid, like I was like 1 kid, maybe 2 tops. And then once we had 1, I was like, oh no, this is amazing. I want as much of this as we could possibly handle, like budgetarily, you know. I'm already a little concerned about feeding these boys when they get bigger. Like, you know, that's going to be.
Now you mentioned more kids. They can just go back to the old school way of they can work the farm. They can all plant a garden and they can work the field.
Work it, kids, and we won't
store
have
it and can it, and they can
fall.
feed themselves. And if they can't do it, then they can't eat. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible.
No, I just think 4 Boys is going to eat us out of this house.
It absolutely will. It already is.
I have no desire to be a mega church pastor, except if I build a really big church, then I can afford my grocery bills.
Please pay for my groceries.
That's not a good reason.
They eat so much.
They eat so much food.
Said no strawberry Pop-Tarts, though.
Nope, there's no... I love that story because they ate Pop-Tarts this morning for breakfast.
I know, they literally did. Or left half the Pop-Tart there, at least, for some of them.
Yeah, yep, that is the way.
But yeah.
When they realized there was no fruit in it, they were like, Mom, this is not my daily source of fruit. I need to put it down.
They do like fruit.
They do.
Yeah, but our 4 children, we were at the zoo, what was it? It was like I was like a month ago.
Yeah, it was a while
we were at the
ago.
zoo, and there was a lady who came up to me, and she was there with her maybe her grandson or one son or something, and she came up to me and she looked at me and she said, I was wearing our youngest, who at the time was about a month old, and she said, please tell me that's a girl. And I said, no,
okay.
that's a boy. And she said, are they all yours? All 4 of them?
No, I stole 2 of them.
And I said, it's a boy. And she said, you have 4 boys? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then she patted my arm. And then she walked away looking incredibly shocked. And I was just mortified because I thought, why are you sorry? I love my 4 children, and they're
like
amazing.
All these children.
And yes,
great.
they are all 4 boys, and they're all 4 wonderful. And
Beautiful,
it is just a beautiful
God-made
thing.
Children right here.
Yeah. Who's about to cry?
I know, he's very upset. Yeah, he just...
But yeah,
was
it's a
sad.
beautiful thing. He was sad that someone thought he, was not loved and cared for and beautiful. And
I just remember you coming home from the zoo that day, telling that story, and it was like, somebody came up to you and said, I'm sorry that you have children. And it's like, some of us, like, really love this and, like, did this on purpose. We actually...
And I realize that's not true across the board, and not everyone is thrilled with, multiple children. But it was a choice we made, and we're satisfied with that choice. And we made that choice on purpose, not by accident.
I just feel like if you're approaching a human being who has children, like...
Try to be positive.
Yeah, maybe don't assume that they are miserable.
Maybe when you walk up to a person, you don't come with all of your assumptions and opinions. Maybe you just walk up to them and say hello or hi, or, your children are so wonderful. Yeah. I know when I think I went for a walk. I went for a walk, when Asher, our youngest, was about 3 weeks old. And I was walking through the neighborhood a few blocks over, and I get so many comments of, they're all yours, or you got your hands full, or you seem pretty busy, all the cliches. But there was one lady that was walking with her son, and she just looked over and she said, are they all 4 yours? And I said, yes. And she said, you look so great. And I was so, she's like, you look so great. That's so wonderful. And I was so happy because it was the first time I had received a cliche comment that didn't include, wow, 4 boys, or I'm so sorry, or wow, you got your hands full.
Yeah. Jim Gaffigan has a great bit where he talks about how when somebody says, you got your hands full, and it's like, that's not a helpful comment. Like, of course we do. They're little and they're running around. It's like, it just like, my favorite comment though of all the cliches is, are they really all yours? It's like, what?
No, I stole them.
Is there enough situations where like kidnappers are? There
was another lady that day that came up to me. We were looking at the tigers, and she was there with what I assume was her granddaughter and her daughter. And, she walked up to me and she said, now I have to ask, are you babysitting, or are they all 4 yours?
You don't have to ask.
And I said, no, they're all 4 mine. And she just looked at me. She grabbed my arm and she said, bless your heart, and walked away.
Bless your heart. We're not even in the South, and we know what that means.
Oh, bless your heart, sweetheart, and walked away. And I said, what would I take someone else's kids to the zoo for fun like this when there's a 1-month-old? Like, that doesn't sound like something I would really sign up for.
But. I don't want us to sound like we're like angry at people, because we like. I'm a
little bitter about it. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, fine. We're just angry.
I just need to start wearing signs or like a hat that has some sort
of.
Please send me a hat. Sponsor of my life. Send me a hat that says, don't ask me dumb questions about my 4 children. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
It's a little sour.
Well, and I mean, honestly, look at them. They're like little Xerox copies of each other, Like, there's no doubt.
They truly are. They all look very much alike. So it's pretty clear they're all related to each other. So
Oh, and so no shade on those who choose not to have kids or have small families, because that's what they would like to do. But we're gonna be like the weirdos who are pushing back against that cultural expectation of the 2.3 kids, which is normal, and we're gonna be those weirdos. I love that. Like, I had to be a pastor, right? A pastor's family, big, and then we're gonna name them all Bible names because we're steering hard into the skid as far as weirdo pastors go. Well, yeah, I got 4 boys. No,
so if anyone has good ideas for basketball team names, we'll start accepting applications now. For future reference.
We were jamming earlier today. I brought my guitar home and we were playing, and I was just looking around at the boys, and they were all singing and playing and dancing, and I was like,
we got ourselves
a band. We got
ourselves a band. So I know which ones are going to be on percussion, which ones are going to be vocals. Yep. You can see it.
Oh, it's going to be fun. No, it's the big family thing's not for everybody, but honestly, I love it, and I did not expect that. It was a total shift for me. You're going to cough right into that microphone? Oh, I know. Good job. Hey, buddy.
Big smiles.
But yeah, the are they all yours? All right, you want to close this out with the mom joke of the week?
All right. So, what did the chickpea say when it had a stomachache?
Chickpea, like the hummus thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait.
Chickpea, garbanzo bean, however you want to swing it. What did it say?
Chickpea say.
Yeah. What did the chickpea say when it had a stomachache?
I have no idea.
Hi, falafel.
Oh no! Oh, all right.
It'll make you groan, but it'll make you laugh.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, this has been the Mannschrecks. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.